Good morning, everyone who is joining us on Facebook Live. Happy Sunday from the Althea Center for Engaged Spirituality. I am your MC today, Jenny Castleberry. I am a 5-year member and super fan of Althea. And I'm going to give folks an extra minute or two to join us because I know sometimes it can be a little tricky. Maybe we haven't had enough coffee. So give yourself a moment or two, and we will be joining you very soon with all of our content and our amazing guests. All right, welcome again. This is Jenny Castleberry, your MC for today. Thank you all for being here. If you don't know about Althea, if you are new to us, we are at 14th and Williams in Capitol Hill. We were founded over 100 years ago by a group of women from Pueblo, Colorado, who decided that the Bible needed a little more of the divine feminine. And so they became part of a movement that actually spread around the world and came to Denver 100 years ago. Our building at 14th and Williams was built, and it is an amazing venue. So you have to come check us out sometime in person. And speaking of being in person, we will be back in person Sunday, February 20th, 2 weeks from today, back in person. So please join us at 10:30 live. We'll have another virtual next Sunday, but the 20th is the plan now that COVID is finally allowing us to come back together. We have an amazing speaker today, Toni Reynolds. Toni, wave for us. Let's see if you can see her there. She will be giving our message today. Catherine Newell is our new spiritual director. We love her. She is the face that you normally see on Sundays, virtually and in person, but she, believe it or not, gets to have a life, and that means she gets to have a couple of Sundays away from this live stream each month. So enjoy yourself, Catherine. You're probably lurking somewhere watching us anyway, but I hope you can relax and let the rest of us take over for you for a bit. We're going to have a special guest who's joining us from Costa Rica. Alice, give us a wave from Costa Rica. Woohoo! She's going to be singing Face of God for us there. We have musical guest Sarah Rex. Sarah, give us a wave. Yay! Sarah is going to be supplying our music today, which is going to be lovely. And you also see the beautiful face of Nancy Driver, who is going to be leading us in prayer today. What I want to first do, it's very important for us to acknowledge that Althea is built on lands that were taken from the ancestral people who were here, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and the Ute peoples. This was their land. And we try to recognize that we are here because it was taken from them. And that is important for us to let you all know. Again, welcome. This is being live streamed. You can watch it later. Please put in the chat as we go along. Hello to everyone. Reach out to each other. When Toni is doing her presentation, we're actually going to have some time at the end for Q&A. So if you have questions for Toni, please put them in the chat and we'll try to gather those. What I would like to do next is open this up with some prayer. So Nancy, if you would say hello, I'm going to mute myself and let you say hello to us and lead us in prayer.
Good morning, Jenny. What a beautiful introduction. So I would just like to invite all of us to close your eyes if you're willing and just get comfortable where you're sitting. And let's just breathe in the breath of life, the divine essence, the great I am. Oh, that beautiful Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandfather Sun, and Grandmother Moon. We just feel that divinity flowing throughout our beings, and we just welcome, welcome, welcome that divine love throughout us. And we are so blessed to have the snow blanketing Mother Earth and just enjoy the warmth of the snow and the vitality and life that snow brings to Mother Earth, to all of us, in water, in beauty, in life-sustaining sustenance. And oh, we are so, so blessed to have the divine essence coming into us through this magnificent day with Althea, with the amazing music and what Tony is going to share, and just all of the wonderful, wonderful wisdom and beauty and music and essence and joy that this service can bring. And we welcome each person, for each person is bringing their energy to this circle, bringing their love, their wisdom, their knowingness to this beautiful service today. And we just welcome all of that divinity to us. And in that blanket of snow, we feel the blanket of love, the blanket of knowingness, the blanket of wisdom being brought forward. And we are so grateful for this time together, for this sharing, for this openness. And we let this go on the wings of the hawk as she circles, as she flies, and as she soars above Mother Earth. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy. That was beautiful. Love the imagery of the snow and the hawk. Thank you so much. We will now have Nancy recite for us, and you can recite at home, our statement of being. The statement of being has its roots, again, over 100 years old. We've updated a wee bit of the language, but it's something that when we are together, we recite every time we're together. And a quick thing I always like to point out is it uses the word perfect. And I want you to think about, it does not mean the way we often believe perfect to mean nowadays. Perfect meaning everything is great and just the way we want, like perfection. When they talked about perfect, especially around things with the Bible as a root, it just meant whole. They talked about things being prophesied in part, but when that which is perfect has come, they don't mean perfection, they mean whole. So when you hear that in our statement of being, think of it more as all the parts have come together in a whole. That's just something I think is kind of cool to throw in there. So Rick, if you're able to put that up for folks to see, for those who don't know it by heart, and for everyone who wants to say it at home with us, just shout it out. And Nancy, I'll let you take it over again.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, I'm just going to wait for the statement of being to come up. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead without it coming up. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Man is the individualized expression of God. and is ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Thank you, Nancy. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And now, our wonderful friend who has been up on the stage at Althea and spoken to us before about energy happens to be in Costa Rica, live with us through the power of technology, Alice Brink, and she is there to do energy work. And Alice, go ahead and take 30 seconds to tell us what you're doing there, what's going on, so we can all be very, very envious of you. And then Alice is going to lead us in singing Face of God. And Rick, if you're able to get that up on the screen, great. If you're not, not a big deal. You can follow along.
Super simple. We'll go over the words before we start. Hi, everybody from Costa Rica. What a joy to be connected with you in this way today. We're always connected through the beautiful field of energy that we share. I'm here to work with kind of a personal retreat to finish some projects that I'm working on to share with you and the world that have to do with creating more energy literacy for each of us. But I'm at this phenomenal, vibrating, blessed space that is dedicated to peace education. So I don't know if you know, but Costa Rica is like one of the only countries, maybe the only country in the world that got rid of its military many decades ago. And so they have enough money for education and healthcare and all kinds of services. Not to say that it isn't still a challenged country, but boy, when the focus is shifted intentionally to peace, they have a Department of Peace instead of a Department of War. And the founder of the program that I'm involved with, Rita Marie Johnson, founded Connection Practice many, many years ago, and has been working from Costa Rica and the United States. And now this program is taught internationally in schools and businesses, all kinds of things. And I hope to bring it to Althea someday. So that's kind of the short on that. And you can look up connectionpractice.org to learn more. Just beautiful, beautiful practice, goes right along with our Science of Mind, New Thought, Althea teachings. Absolutely. So with that, I want to share this wonderful song with you as the face of God. And so I really encourage you to sing into your space, because as we speak and sing and create those vibrations into our space, we change the space. So I invite you to be intentional this morning and go ahead and sing loud and proud in your own space. So let's connect in that way. So in this beautiful, simple song, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. You are my family. You are the face of love. So God, love, and then let's go back to God. Let's do 3 verses. We'll use the power of the 3 and end with the face of God again. Okay? So let's go. If you like, you can follow along and do these hand motions with me. You are, we're going to have chickens, dogs, wild birds, and maybe a cat or 2 singing back up over here. So just bear with me. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Blessings, everybody from Costa Rica. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us. And hey, technology worked, right? We were a little concerned It's a little ways away, but it worked for us. There is one somber announcement that I would like to make here at the beginning that I will also make at the end, and that is that we lost one of our beloved community members who passed away last week. His name is Lawrence Coleman, and you may know his wife, Steffi Bell. They were regulars. They were there every Sunday, tended to sit toward the back downstairs. Very active, very beloved. And so if we can take just a moment. In fact, Nancy, I'm going to ask you for just a quick prayer for Lawrence and his family. And I'll also mention it at the end for folks who may come on later. But when we do get back together in person, we will have a way to honor Lawrence right there with us on a Sunday. So Nancy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, we just bring in the spirit of Lawrence. What a beloved man, so wise, so kind, so trusting, such amazing father and husband, and such a beautiful supporter of Althea. Oh, he is missed. He is deeply missed. And we just know that his spirit continues and that he is with us right here and right now. And Steffi is feeling his energy and is completely surrounded in love and care, and is able, his entire family is able to feel our love, our support, and that he will continue in the life after, and they will feel his heart, his spirit, his amazing energy. And we do miss him. And with love, with gratitude for his time on this earth, we let this go and trust that all will be well and is well.
Amen. Thank you so much, Nancy. And now we are going to have some music from our musical guest, Sarah Rex. Hello, Sarah. You can turn your mic back on. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hello.
Hello. So good to see you. Let me give you all, the audience, just a little bit of background on Sarah. Sarah is a singer, actress, and full-time mom in Littleton, Colorado. She is originally from North Reading, Massachusetts. She moved to sunny Colorado about 20 years ago and is never going back. I happen to know that she met her husband when they were both working on cruise ships. So I'm just saying that can happen. Isn't that correct, Sarah?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Yep, I thought so. I happen to know her husband, who's also an awesome human. And since about 2002, Sarah has performed all over the Denver area at the Garner Galleria in Denver Center for the Performing Arts, the Arvada Center, the Country Dinner Playhouse, and the Aurora Fox. She has been in, I can't wait to tell my daughter this because my daughter loves Legally Blonde right now. She's been in Legally Blonde. She's been in Joseph. She's been in Spamalot, all sorts of things, and is a proud member of the Actors Equity Association. So we are very privileged to have her today. So Sarah, I am going to mute myself and tell you to take it away. And if you have any introduction that you want to give to the song, feel free.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah, and I'm going to be singing Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But don't think of it as a children's thing. Think about it as your imagination and your spirit being able to expand and feel the energy of where you are in your space. And think of that imagination as I sing through the song. And sorry, I don't have any music because I don't really play anything, and we're going a cappella. Okay, you ready? Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of this creation. What we see will defy explanation. If you wanna view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you wanna view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Woo! I'm going to do the applause. All right, Sarah. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it was wonderful that it was a cappella because it was just all you coming through. Thank you. Thank you so much. What I'd like to do now is transition it over to our message from Toni Reynolds. Hello, Toni. We cannot wait to hear. Let me give you a little bit of background on Toni. She is a creative theologian with a home in the wisdom of African spiritual traditions and a preference for exploring the space where faith and justice overlap. She studied at Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York and has over 10 years experience working on justice initiatives with faith-based organizations. And these experiences have created a passion for politically and spiritually informed justice work. How cool is that? That aims at fostering a liberative society where diverse experiences are honored at all times. And here's what's really cool too. Toni is learning to play the banjo and is a guest writer for Progressing Spirit, which is an online column that focuses on theology, politics, and current events. And Toni has it so together for us today that she even has a handout, I'll call it, that she's going to share with us at the end. And so, Toni, I will mute myself here in a moment, but thank you so much for being with us today. And and folks, audience, as I mentioned earlier, please put some Q&A in the comments. We'll try to grab as many as we can because we are definitely going to make this engaging. Oh, I just realized I wasn't even on video that whole time. We're going to make this engaging. We want you to feel that you're a part of this. So please put questions that we'll take at the end. We'll put some time aside and we'll try to answer as many of those as we can. So Toni, I will let you take it from here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Greetings, Althea community. Can you hear me?
Yes, totally.
Okay, great. So greetings, everyone. As Jenny said, my name is Toni Reynolds. I'm joining in from the land of the Lumbee people. Most folks know this area as the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Great, thanks. I know there's a lag on Facebook too. I'm following that chat just to help facilitate that interactive element that Jenny mentioned. So I just want to start by offering up a word of thanks to the Lumbee. I'm on their land, giving thanks to my ancestors for protecting a wealth of information and other resources, resources that I'm tapping into in order to share this offering with you all today. I also want to thank you, whether you're joining in live or you're tapping in later on a YouTube or a Facebook recording, because you're welcoming me into your sacred space. And that's a gesture of great generosity, and you're sharing your attention with me, which is not something that I take lightly. So thank you for arriving, and I trust that our time together will be mutually fruitful. Before we really take off, it looks like there's already a culture of this happening in the Facebook chat, but I come from spaces with lots of interaction with the gatherings. So please feel free to communicate any access needs. I'm known to talk very quickly. So if you find that I'm doing that, please just gently tap in that chat and let me know that I need to slow down. We want to make sure that everyone has what they need to participate fully. And as you all know, February is Black History Month. And in the spirit of honoring this often cast aside and suppressed history of people of the African diaspora, in the spirit of celebration, I join you today. And I don't make any claim to be a professional historian or expert of any sort. I know that Jenny just mentioned the Union Theological credentials. That's actually how I met Catherine, who's dear to you all. But just please don't regard me as an expert of any kind. I'm sharing all of this with you from my own curiosities. And yeah, I just hope that this survey that I've prepared will invite you to think of familiar symbols in new ways. And these stories come from people and places that I love deeply and value. And I hope that you will too. So my other hope is that the things that we do here together today will nourish you as you move through the month of February and beyond, so that when we find ourselves in the depth of summer and the warmth of those months, that as a collective and as individuals, you'll be established in your own explorations of celebrating Black history and knowing it for yourself. As Ginny mentioned, I did make a little resource guide. I think in another life I was a teacher. So I have a hard time preparing these presentations without also thinking of like, what can you bring with you away from the space? So I'll make some references to things, but I will give all of those to you afterwards, and they'll be available. I'll put links in the Facebook chat as well. So just know that that's coming your way. And I suspect I'm not alone in having some relationship to Black History Month. I attended public schools my whole life, so it was always a kind of a symbolic gesture of inclusion, but also kind of boring in a way, because it was this repetitive glimpse of the same characters and the same tailored narratives. And I would come home and learn about all these other characters and inventors and musicians and artists. And so I myself appreciate any new lead on a perspective, a detail, a story within this larger history that we share. And the more seriously I take my spiritual life, the more this desire for the rich stuff makes sense to me. I think what I've really been searching for and wanting in my explorations of history is more insight about how people feel their resilience, not just folks of the African diaspora, but people in general. What are the symbols that they use? What do they stitch on their clothes? What names do they give their descendants? How do they knit this strength and memory into every fiber of their community? And I've come to learn in my own personal spiritual life that the power of symbol is one that connects us to source and can be active for our minds even when we don't realize it. So I've drawn a lot of strength and nourishment from the work of Malidoma Patrice Somé, who's recently departed to be in the land of the ancestors. And I'm dropping this quote in the chat. The feed will catch up to you in just a sec. But of the symbolic, he says, the symbolic and the spiritual are not far apart. There is no word for symbol other than the word spirit in the Dagara language, because there is an assumed indivisible connection between spirit and symbol. So when one comes, the other comes right along with it. And I've been on your website. I know Kate well enough to know that you all are people who value symbol. It's such a necessary component to any spiritual life. And I think for elders like Malidoma and even others who are more easily recognized in the Western context, like Carl Jung or Joseph Smith, I think they would all talk about how engaging symbols is a necessary component for life in general. There's a dynamic way that they can evolve, and their meaning has an impact on us. Yeah, I see that comment. We value symbol. Yes, you do. It's beautiful. There's a lot of rich stuff that can come when we love and appreciate symbol. So that's where I'm coming from, is this this lover of symbol, and I'm using the banjo as that symbol today to just travel backward a little bit on the timeline and see how its meaning and evolution has mattered for us in this American context. I count myself as a lover of music, though I do have my limitations. And so one of my icebreakers was going to be for folks to throw up an emoji if you also love music. I'm going to wait for the feed to catch me. So if you love music, go ahead and let us know. Just building some commonality, seeing the hearts pop up. I'm not surprised. Yeah, not surprised by the shared love for music. And this is great to see. This is our entry point for today. Again, I'm no ethnomusicologist. I'm just super curious. And the evolution of the banjo and its contributions to the music scene that we're accustomed to is of a special importance for me right now. I happened to grow up playing instruments like in band, clarinet, oboe, violin. But it wasn't until about 2017, 2018 that the banjo really caught my attention. And it happened for me while I was living in the Dominican Republic for a short while. I was working there for an organization that offered free capoeira classes for local youth. Capoeira is if you don't know, it's the Brazilian martial arts form that came out of the slave trade, as well as Africans were stolen from the continent and forced into Brazil. Capoeira was maintained as a way to hold culture and memory. And one of the instruments that's used is called the berimbau. Yes, I was going to say djembe. I'm thinking of drums and these lute type instruments. So the berimbau is also a gourd instrument with a string. And when I saw it, I just thought it was so cool. There's a link for more things on the berimbau. The way that it captivated the energy of the capoeira class was probably the first thing that tipped me off to it. It was portable like a guitar. It had a unique sound, and I wanted to know more about it. So I trudged my way up the hill to my little apartment with 2G Wi-Fi and spotty electricity, and just searched all I could on this instrument. And along the way, I met the banjo, and it's a family of instruments. And I don't know if you all watch SNL, but there's that popular skit about Will Ferrell and the cowbell. It's like, more cowbell, baby. Well, the banjo was my cowbell. I needed so much more of it. And I'm curious for you all, if you have a relationship to the banjo, or now, like, what are some things that come to mind when you think of the banjo? So pausing here for that feed. And Antonio, I see your question. I was not recently on NPR, but that is a goal. I'd love to know who that was that I reminded you of, though. Yeah, Sarah, thank you. Banjo reminds you of folk music. I'm not sure if other folks Thank you for posting that question there. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I also had an association with the banjo as folk music, and yeah, in the South, banjo is happy, right? That Steve Martin skit, you can't play the banjo and sound sad. Yeah, and banjo and Black history. Yeah, thank you, Linda. That's new. That's relatively new to me within these last 5 years. I mostly only knew of it as this Southern Appalachian instrument, not even knowing that it was a part of the African American story. So in my research, I wanted to know about the history of this instrument from the other side of the pond. So a colleague recommended that I watch this documentary called Throw Down Your Heart by Bela Fleck, who's a world-renowned banjo artist. He and his partner, Abigail, as well. So I'm gonna play this little clip for you. Give me just a sec to get my screens right. Screen share on.
Je kumba koko mo Jules Ekona Diatta, je a guitariste. Ateka e continue. Hana neba mo kilaw wono 5 otokai yo leba yo ki wono tok iye kilo no gaji. Ala ujue mo ko pangmandi sen mizigano so ano. Yeah. According to the history, they told me this is where they used to come and trap them.
Our parents' experience was that in the evening, they used this accounting to sing. So they will be in the forest singing, so then they will be disappeared and they will not see them again. So there was, the white man captured the slaves.
The first trip, they have so many casualties. But the second trip, because of that instrument, it actually helped them to gain more strength and they reach.
So when they're on the boats, they play the music and
Yes.
it keeps people life and strength. I see. Right.
They cannot go without the accounting.
That line there, they cannot do without the accounting, really hit me when I first watched this documentary. I paused it and had an emotional moment, having a little bit of one right now. I was so compelled. I had never heard about how crucial this instrument was. To me, it clarified the ritual use of the instrument, that it became a ritual instrument, you know? It literally helped the stolen Africans endure the Middle Passage. And as the instrument made its way to this hemisphere, it retained its power through every stage of evolution and its form, so that the descendants of the people who were stolen, the folks who were enslaved in the Americas, survived plantation life because of this instrument and the songs and the memories that it helped travel over time and through immense suffering. Yes, the name of the documentary is called Throw Down Your Heart. And it will be in the little resource guide that I share as well. And you can find the full recording on YouTube for free. So that cracked open a whole different exploration for me of the banjo. Just gonna do a quick little like TikTok version of the history. So the accounting is brought to this side of the world on these ships, people who were stolen and meant to be enslaved. Folks arrive in the Caribbean and move their way throughout the Caribbean up north And along the way, the accounting is reimagined, becomes a gourd banjo, and then over decades and decades, it spreads throughout the country and becomes the banjo that we know eventually. As it moves beyond the plantation, white musicians begin to play it and becomes the coolest, hottest instrument. And as that happens, the entertainment that's around it is the minstrel era, the minstrel performers, minstrel music, the blackface, the caricatures, the images that we bring a lot of discomfort and sometimes fall out of this history of music, as well as the history of this instrument. But it was so crucial, like not just the instrument in this era, but it was popular for about 50 or so years in American history and became the bedrock for so much of the music that you and I enjoy now. And so this truly African American instrument becomes a staple for American music in the form of minstrel shows. And while it's happening and generating all of this money and life and all of these things in the form of the entertainment industry, simultaneously, it's being severed from its roots with people of the African diaspora, not just because of the caricatures and misrepresentations, but all of the other violence associated with being so horribly misrepresented. And so this distance that happens makes it such that it's rare to see Black folks playing the banjo, and can even become an insult. There's a popular conflict that happened in the media between Nat King Cole and Thurgood Marshall, was a prominent NAACP figure, where Thurgood Marshall says that since Cole was an Uncle Tom, he ought to perform with a banjo. And so even inside of the Black community is this, the best way to capture your disloyalty to your people is to have a banjo, and having a banjo means that you have a master. And so this association gets, it starts to dominate the narrative. And this powerful symbol, this one that endured some of the most horrendous sufferings in our recent history, is divorced from its home, divorced from its people, in really just a matter of a short amount of time. So what I'm centering my offering on for you all, Althea community, is that with all of the stolen people who came these immense treasures of wealth, symbols, history. And as Malidoma makes it clear, these symbols come with their own spirit. They come with their own energy, as you all, people who are lovers of symbols, know. And my position is that the exploration of our history is sometimes difficult, and the emotional toll is often a reason not to do it. But when we have this symbol that's endured, it feels like the antidote to do that deep work. And in order to truly envision and architect a future that's evolved from the past, not repeating it, we need all the help we can get. And so I think that's why the banjo has emerged for me in my personal life. I'm trusting that I'm a steward of the spirit of the banjo by offering it to you here as a symbol of endurance. None of us are lost on the fact that this is a tricky time. Tensions are high. History is being rewritten. And the thing that we need most is endurance and a consistent reminder of our unyielding link with spirit, just because we have these bodies, whatever shape, whatever form, whatever color. And so my hope is that this instrument can become a collective symbol for this kind of endurance, not to erase any aspect of its important history, but instead to celebrate that this resilience, this creativity, this refusal to give up, our link with our creator, help to bring about such incredible inspiration in the form of whatever music you love. Like there's a tie there. And so my charge for you all, the action item, if you will, would be for you to think about your own symbol. Maybe the banjo isn't the right one. Maybe you as a community already have one, but what's the symbol that helps you endure great suffering? And I'm asking you to think about this because I see that you've committed to spending the rest of the month exploring Black history. And like I said, I'm sure that that will continue beyond. And so when it gets rough, it's important to have a tool to employ to help keep you in the work. And so I'd like for you all to think about what symbol helps you to do that. I can also put that in the chat. Give me one sec. I'm claiming graceful with the glitches. So thank you for being with me in that. So the last thing I wanted to share with you all is just a short clip of this song. It's from the soundtrack of this documentary that I shared. Title of the song I'll share with you as well. But as this is playing, I want you to just think about what your symbol might be. Maybe there's one that's been hiding in plain sight, much like the banjo. And yeah, share it in the chat if you are so inclined. And if not, maybe keep it to yourself and share it with your loved ones, with your family. Let me get my screen share on, give us a quick closing moment, and then we'll be on our way.
Jorole panonika Jorole panonimi Jorole panonika Jorole panonimi
Thank you again, Althea community. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for your commitment to dive deeper on these storylines that connect all of us together. I send you the biggest blessings for transformation and principled rigor as you continue throughout this month and beyond.
Thank you, Tony, so much. That was beautiful. And I've asked folks to put questions in the comments, but I will ask you, I know that there are some books out there that are supposed to give us the history of symbols, right? Almost like a dictionary of symbols, right? I've seen some of these. So for example, the Tree of Life, which is one of the symbols you see a lot of at Althea. Do you feel like some of those references are a good place to go? Do you yourself tend to Google things? I mean, if you want to know what's underneath a symbol and get it right, because we know that sometimes the history, I think Catherine even commented, history isn't always right in what we think a symbol comes from. If we really want to know the origin of something, what are some tips you'd give us on how to find that out?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, some of the books are great. I have the Big Book of Symbols, which is a really popular one. I've learned though that, and this is from Jungian, the help of Jungian analysts, that there's probably more meaning to a symbol than even like whatever your initial read might be. So my current practice with symbols to find their meaning is to not consult any outside resources. It's actually to draw it myself. and really spend some slow time chewing on it, just to see what else it's pointing to inside of me. On days there are days where I don't have enough patience for that, and so I am known to Google. And my favorite thing to do is to try to find insight from more cultures than just the United States. So whatever way helps folks do that, if it feels good, that's the thing that I do the most, is first an internal check, and then trying to find perspectives from, not like pop culture type references for the symbol meanings.
That's great. I love the idea of drawing it yourself too, as well, right? Spend some time with it on that a gut level that transcends language. That's very cool. We do have a question from Chris. Are there any current modern Black performers that you could steer us to who are working with the banjo?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. That was my primary interest in creating a resource guide, was like, oh, how can I point people to the great work that folks are up to? So I dropped that link in the chat. So here are some folks. I'm going to write those names down as well. So there's one really cool project that's happening. It's called the Black Banjo Reclamation Project. They're based in California. And then there's some artists. I mean, if you Googled that, like, you might find the really common ones are like Rhiannon Giddens, and the band that she used to be a part of called the Carolina Chocolate Drops. They're great. Layla McCall is another beautiful one. Just getting these names down while I say them. I just found this group. I can only find them on Bandcamp so far, but there's a link to them as well, called Crow Call. Hubby Jenkins, who's also done some work with Rhiannon Giddens. And then the whole soundtrack for Throw Down Your Heart features artists who are also still in different African countries who are playing the akonting or similar instruments. And so those are also great places to start. And you can stream those on the link in the resource guide connects you to YouTube, but that soundtrack can also be found on the other major streaming devices. So I hope those are great places to start.
They are great places to start. And you know what popped into my head, if we have anyone listening who's connected to Swallow Hill music, who are known for especially folk, bluegrass, we've had some performers from there, lots of banjos going on at Swallow Hill. Somebody needs to talk to them about trying to bring in some of this original indigenous banjo music. So let's challenge Swallow Hill to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know that collective, but I guess for me, it feels like such a missed opportunity, because the banjo became a place. It's almost like it's the center of a constellation, right? Like it came out of plantation life, essentially, and then it became this bridge that brought a lot of these songs and rhythms mostly, to the wider country. And so all of these different aspects and demographics can gather around this one instrument. And so it feels like anyone who's in the work of unifying would really do well to consider it as a place to do some of that work.
Exactly. And it's also what I always think of with banjo is I've heard it's one of the most difficult instruments to play. It's really, really challenging.
I thought about playing something for you all, and I was like, no,
not yet.
Yeah, it's tricky, and it's almost hypnotizing. Like I think I know a handful of chords and a couple of strum patterns, but as it's happening, I sort of can't even track how it's making all the noises that it's making. It's really incredible. It's incredible. Like, so yes, maybe someday, whoever those, did you say Swallow Hill? Yeah.
It's called Swallow Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. Those folks, maybe they can give you some banjo lessons also.
There you go. So it's almost like it has a little mind of its own.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's part of why I wanted to bring it, because for me, I'm still interested. I'm coming to the banjo sort of from the top down, like, what's the spirit of this instrument and how can I drop down into the matter of the instrument? And I'm not quite on this level just yet.
That's okay. My hat is still off to you for even doing it. So maybe we'll have you back in a while, and we're gonna expect some banjo playing, Tony.
Give me,
So
give me a while. Yeah.
it can even be, hot cross buns or whatever they taught us on the violin, right? In another chat on the Zoom, Alice Brink, who sang our Face of God this morning, says you can catch the Chocolate Drops performing on several old replays of Prairie Home Companion on NPR. So that might be a place for folks to search. Tony, I'm going to see real quickly what other questions we might have. And by the way, you had asked people about symbols. There were a whole bunch, cocoons, rainbows, all sorts of animals, something that I don't even know what it is, but maybe we'll just have to have we'll have to have a whole thing on symbols and symbolism. Let me see what else. Is it necessary that symbols come from inequity, or can symbols of our own creation be used as well? Antonio wants to know.
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think, the song, entering with the song, thank you, Sarah, for singing Pure Imagination. I was trying to recall the quote, but I've heard a lot of like people, maybe I respect them very much, so they seem like multiple people in my mind, of elders in Indigenous communities talk about the role that spirit has in our imagination, right? That like engaging your imagination is an act of spiritual practice and a way to connect very deeply to spirit, which I think is also the basis of a lot of the Jungian work that you all might be more familiar with, which happens in your dreams, or not in your dreams. What I'm trying to say is, yes, I think creating those symbols is just as powerful. And ultimately, I think at least for this offering, the function being to help you endure something. Yeah, like it doesn't need to be made by any outside source first. And I just want to also maybe offer one thing that the banjo itself, yes, could technically be thought of as a symbol that emerges out of suffering, but its ancestor, the Akanting, did not. And so I just want to clarify that, like yes, this instrument is very much rooted in this like horrible global tragedy, but its story is more than that, and I suspect that's the same for every symbol that we might engage.
Good point. It's not as though one thing represents what that symbol supposedly represents. It's a very good point. We are going to wrap it up, but let me just make sure that I get comments in. The Gullah people that live, I guess, on the East Coast, Southeast Coast. Someone said something about the Gullah Geechee.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah. And just on that one, unfortunately I haven't engaged a lot of local community, mostly because of COVID. So we moved here like in the thick of it. And so I know that folks are around. I've got a colleague and friend now who lives in South Carolina who is Gullah. And we plan to have some gatherings together down there. But it's been really limited with COVID and adjusting to the new place. So, but thank you for that reminder, because it keeps coming up to do that dive. So I appreciate that comment.
So again, we're just going to have you back. I mean, that's what that tells me for a recital and for more research. So folks, we're going to wrap up this part of it, and know that take a look at the chat, because we have a lot of connections, links there for you from what Tony talked about and her information. And of course, we'll make sure things get up on the website as well, so we can track all of that. What I would like to do is mention that everything you see from our Facebook account and Zoom, to the building itself, to the people who staff the building and run it, that all doesn't happen through magic alone. It happens through your donations, through your financial support. There is just no other way to say it. And it's kind of tough when we go virtual. We don't have that basket to pass around. So there is a link now in the comments where you can click on that and go to our website and donate, or you can just go straight there. You can also text. This is how cool Catherine, our new spiritual director, has us nowadays. Just do text to 720-547-3449. We will put this in the chat. Text hashtag give, and that will allow you to give to us as well. You can also always set up what we call an evergreen donation. That's what I'm set up for, so I don't even have to worry about it. Like anything else, right? You go in, you give them your information, and once a month, it takes money out of your account, whatever you want. You could stop it at any time, start it up again, but it's a great way to give because our expenses are significant, and we want to keep Althea thriving. Think of all the things it's done for you. Just keep it in your wallet and your heart. All right, so thank you. I'll quit talking about that. The text the number, yeah, let me do that. So text, I'm putting this in the comments, gang. Hashtag give to 720-547-3449. That is now captured in the comments. So thank you so much for all of you who are offering. Also, you can put prayers now. This is a good time. If you have any prayer requests, please put them in the chat box now, in the comment box. Also, we have a new prayer request form. In fact, if you haven't checked out our website in a while, please check it out. There are changes every day that are making it much more responsive and easy to use. So there are prayer request forms there. There are suggestion forms there if you have something that you want to make a suggestion about. Our website is becoming more of a place where you can do that. I would like to bring back our musical guest, Sarah. She's going to perform for us again. And when she's done, we'll start to wrap up. We'll do announcements pretty quickly, tell you about a few things that are happening. And while Sarah is singing for us, I'm going to look through the comments and make sure that I've at least captured some of the things that I wanted to from you all. So Miss Sarah, there you are. I'm going
Hello.
to hello again. I'm going to
Hi.
mute I'm going to mute myself and let you take it away.
Okay. All right. This is a song from a musical called Children of Eden. But I think it's a beautiful song. Here I go. Okay. Beyond, beyond. It sounds full of wind and mist, doesn't it? It means other things exist, doesn't it? Beyond, beyond. It says, Adam, leave your list, doesn't it? Oh, why does my head feel this joy and this dread since the moment I said beyond? I've got an itching on the tip of my fingers. I've got a burning in the back of my brain. I've got a hunger burning inside me, cannot be denied. I got a feeling the creator who made us, when she was kindling the pulse in my veins, she left a tiny spark of that fire smoldering inside. The spark of creation is flickering within me. The spark of creation is blazing in my blood. A bit of the fire that lit up the stars and brought life into the mud. The first inspiration, the spark of creation. I see a mountain and I want to climb it. I see a river and I want to leave shore. Where there was nothing, let there be something, something made by me. There's things waiting for me to invent them. There's worlds waiting for me to explore. I am an echo of the eternal cry of let there be. The spark of creation is burning bright within me. The spark of creation won't let me rest at all until I discover or build or uncover a thing that I can call my celebration of the spark of creation. the spark of creation, may it burn forever. The spark of creation, I'm a keeper of the flame. We think all we want is a lifetime of leisure, each perfect day the same, an endless vacation. Well, that's all right if you're a kind of crustacean, but when you're born with an imagination, sooner or later you're feeling the fire get hotter and higher. The spark of creation.
Sarah, thank you so much for bringing your joy. It's just comes through like crazy. You have
Right,
got,
even through a television screen.
even through a television screen, you have got to let us know when you're singing, acting, dancing locally. My family and I went and saw Little Shop of Horrors at
Oh, great, at Littleton.
Town Center. Yeah, last night. What an amazing, amazing performance. And I've seen it on stage a couple of times. So you got to let us know, okay?
Sure.
When you're performing, because I can tell that's your place, is on that stage. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yes. And we'll have her back, of course, and we'll have her back in person. That's the cool thing. And speaking of in person, we're going to wrap this up with some announcements. And Nancy Driver, of course, will have you close us out with a prayer at the very end. Being back in person is going to happen for us at Althea on Sunday, February 20th, 2 weeks from today. We will be back in action. So put that on your calendar. And always go to the website. One thing I want to mention, the Gong Bath with Greg Wilkins. If you've never done a Gong Bath, plan to do it at 12:30, 2 weeks from today when we come back together. Once a month, he is doing Gong Baths at our location. And if you buy your ticket early now, it's only $20. At the door, it will be $25. It's amazing. If you've never done a Gong Bath, you're going to be addicted. I know I am. We don't yet have the sign up. So just write yourself a little note. I believe tomorrow, Monday, when we get back to business, you're going to see a link to that where you can sign up. I also want to mention that, let me go, I'm actually just going to quickly go to the website to tell you some upcoming events. Community Connections happens every Thursday via Zoom at 11 o'clock with Kathy Humphreys. It's your chance to stay connected to the community. She always has a subject. It's a lively discussion. Been going on for a long time. We still have Healing Meditation 1 with the Reverend Suzanne Hunt, part of our community. Check that out. And then she also has Healing Meditation 4 and 5 coming up. So for those of you who have been doing it for a while, the first Wednesday of every month is Diversity Dialogues with our LGBTQ plus Mariposa program and Tim Smith. So check out what's happening there. We have accountability circles. I'll let you look into what that is, just because we only have so much time. And yes, the Gong Bath is also mentioned on our site. What else? Please donate. Did you know that we have a comedy underground group that meets or that uses our space downstairs in the basement? It's Comedy Underground, I think it's called. They have people from all over the US, like big names. So it's not an Althea thing, but it's something that's going on in our space, and I've heard it's amazing. I still need to go. We also wanted to announce that another dearly departed member of our community, Lori Lucero, who passed away a couple of weeks ago now, about 3 weeks ago, did have a memorial. It happened to be at the First Baptist Church, but we have it, a link to it, the recording of it on our site. It's on YouTube. It'll be up for about 2 weeks. So please go check that out if you weren't able to attend and you wanted to see what that was about. Board nominations, only a few weeks left to submit a nomination. You can nominate yourself to be on the board or someone else. We have some spots coming up as people rotate off. So we would love to have your energy and ideas on our board. That's a big part of what makes us strong. We are celebrating Black History Month all of February. So join us again for our next couple of Sundays. Let me see if there is anything. Oh, if you hear squeaking in the background, that's my doggie. New addition to the family. Let's see. I am going to take one last look at the comments, just because I don't want to leave anyone out. And I'm going to say, Nancy, get ready. Let's see. I hear lots of bravos, bravos, bravos for Sarah. Back in person, be on the board. Oh, and we did want to mention, again, we talked about this at the beginning, that Lawrence Coleman, who was one of our members, did pass away this last week, Steffi Bell's husband. We said a prayer for her and Lawrence and his family at the beginning. We don't have any information on services yet for Lawrence. Do know that when we come back together, we ourselves for Althea will honor him. If we hear of anything else, if you want to reach out to Steffi and you're not sure how, use our email, which gets you to Rick Stanton, who's our business manager. And that's admin, ADMIN, @altheacenter.org. That's the email. I will put it right now in the chat, admin @altheacenter.org. I believe that's correct. Rick, if it's not, please correct me. That is how you can find out the best way to reach out to her. And I believe that is everything. Let me get back to mine. So Nancy, again, first of all, thank you to everyone who made this happen. Alice joining us from Costa Rica. Tony joining us from North Carolina, but she's really from New York sometimes. Sarah, who joined us from Littleton. This doesn't happen without all of these beautiful people coming together. Please share who we are with everybody you know, and come visit us in person on the 20th. Nancy, pray us on out, girl.
Okay. Oh, let's just close our eyes and breathe in that breath of life. What inspiration, what divine guidance we have received today. And we bring into our hearts the memories of Lawrence and the memories of Lori. And we know that they are with us right now, celebrating this beautiful service that we have just received today. And we also bring in the magic of the banjo. What it symbolizes, its sounds, its history, its mysteries. Oh, what we have learned today is so special and so inspirational for us to follow our hearts, to learn, to grow. And we also celebrate our imagination and are so blessed to have had the wonderful music and the energy of Costa Rica and all of these magnificent people throughout the world. And with this place of celebration, with this place of amazing Althea energy, we just say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy. I had a request to show the dog. She ran away. Don't you know? That's what dogs and children do. Blessings to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday and a great week coming up.